everyone. I'm gonna read some more about the Screwtape letters by C.S. Lewis. We don't have much left in this book, so let me find where I picked up from last time. We're at Screwtape proposes a toast. We're gonna finish this off tonight. I mean that he does not believe it himself. No man who says I'm as good as you believes it. He would not say it if he did. The Saint Bernard never says it to the toy dog, nor the scholar to the dunce, nor the employable to the bum, nor the pretty woman to the plain. The claim to equality outside the strictly political field is made only by those who feel themselves to be in some way inferior. What it expresses is precisely the itching, smarting, writhing awareness of an inferiority which the patient refuses to accept, and therefore resents every kind of superiority in others, degenerates it, which is its humiliation. Presently he suspects every mere difference to being a claim to superiority. Not one must be different from himself in voice, clothes, planners, recreations, choice of food. Here is someone who speaks English rather more clearly and phoneously than I. It must be a vile, upstage, la-di-da affectation. There's a fellow who says he doesn't like hot dogs, thinks himself too good for them. No doubt, there's a man who hasn't turned in the jukebox. He's one of those goddamn highbrows and is doing it to show off. If they were honest to God, all right Joes, they'd be like me. They've no business to be different. It's undemocratic. Now, this useful phenomenon in itself, by no means new, under the name of envy, it has been known to the humans for thousands of years, but hitherto they're always regarded it as the most odious and also the most comical of voices. Those who were aware of feeling it felt with shame. Those who were not gave it to quarter in others. The delightful novelty of the present situation is that you can sanction it, make it respectable and even laudable by the incantory of the use democratic. Under the influence of this incantation, those who are in any or every way inferior can labor more wholeheartedly and successfully than ever before to pull down everyone else to their own level. But that is not all. Under the same influence, those who come or could come nearer to a full humanity actually draw back from it for fear of being democratic. I am credibly informed that young humans now sometimes possess an anticipant taste for classical music or good literature, because it might prevent their being like folks, that people who really wish to be and are offered the grace which would enable them to be honest chaste or temperate, refuse it to accept might make them different, might offend against the way of life, take them out of togetherness, impair their integration with the group. They might honor of horrors become individuals. All is summed up in prayer, which young female human is said to have uttered recently. "Oh God, make me a normal 20th century girl." Thanks to our labors, this will mean increasingly make me a minx, a moron, and a parasite. Meanwhile, as a delightful byproduct, the fewer every day who will not be made normal and regular and like folks and integrated increasingly tend to become, in reality, the pigs and franks which the rabble would in any case have believed them to be, for suspicion often creates that it suspects, since whatever I do, the neighbors are going to think me a witch. For a communist agent, I might as well be hanged for sheep as a lamb and become one in reality. As a result, we now have an intelligentsia which, though very small, is very useful to the cause of hell. But that is a mere byproduct. What I want to fix your attention is the vast overall movement towards the discrediting and finally the elimination of every kind of human excellence, moral, intellectual, social, or intellectual. And is it not pretty to notice how democracy in the incantory sense is now dancing for us to work that was once done by the most ancient dictatorships, and by the same methods? You remember how one of the Greek dictators, they called them tyrants, then sent an envoy to another dictator to ask his advice about the principles of government. The second dictator led the envoy into a field of grain, and there he snicked off with this cane the top of every stalk that rose an inch or so above the general rule. The moral was plain: allow no prominence among your subjects. Let no man who is wiser, to better, or more famous, or even handsomer than the mass. Cut them all down to a level, all slaves, all ciphers, all nobodies, no equals, all equals. Thus tyrants could practice, in a sense, democracy, but now democracy can do the same work without any tyranny other than her own. No one should now go through the field with a cane. The little stalks will now of themselves bite the tops off the big ones. The big ones are beginning to bite off their own in their desire to be like stalks. I have said that to secure the damnation of these little souls, these creatures have almost ceased to be individual, is a laborious and tricky work. But if a proper brains and skill are expended, you can be fairly confident of the result. The great sinners seem easier to catch, but then they are calculable. After you have played them for 70 years, the enemy may snatch them, the enemy is God, may snatch them from our claws in the 21st. They are capable. You see